is Palworld, and today we're going to be testing it on an RX 6600 GPU paired with a Ryzen 5 3600 and 16GB of DDR4 3200MHz RAM. Alright, let's go into the settings first. And let me show you the graphic settings here. We're using 1080p full screen mode, and I'm using epic settings here with TSR and field of view is at maximum. I cannot use DLSS because I don't have an NVIDIA GPU. So right now I'm trying to build my world here, and I've captured one Pokemon, or you could say pal. So as you can see, we're getting about 62 FPS, average 63. I've been playing the game for like half an hour now, and it's been running pretty well. And the graphics look very good, but they're not amazing as you might see other games in 2024. This is a very popular game these days, so it's got like 300,000 people playing right now on Steam, as I checked earlier, and the game runs amazing. Many people are just making huge bases and stuff. I've already seen that, and I think this is a tug area. I don't want to go there. So getting about 66 FPS average. There are people that here. That's just for the sake of the video. Let me drop everything here so I can move. Alright, so getting somewhat a little bit of stuttering. I've installed the game on an SSD, and that is not an issue. And the system is quite capable of running the game at even epic settings. So this is 1080p. I'm gonna go ahead now and change the settings here, and let's see what maximum frame rate we can get actually. Let's go to high and apply this. Okay, high settings. There's somewhat a little bit of lesser clarity, I would say, but the rest of the things are the same. Let's start counting the frames again. Also, there is not much of an improvement in FPS also. I'm getting about 7.9 gigabytes of VRAM usage also, so that's kind of the same. I've got 16 gigabytes of memory, so it's at 12 gigabytes, which is under control, and there is not any issue trying to play the game at 16 gigabytes of memory. So that's very good. And let's move on forward now, because I get the idea how it's gonna run. Let's go to medium, because it was not making much of a difference at high settings. Let's go to medium. It's still using TSR here. So I just joined a new server, and we're in a new area now because the previous server was lagging a lot. So right now we're at medium settings now. And at medium settings, it's actually applied high settings, so I don't know what medium means. So at medium settings, we're getting about 90 FPS average. Still, we're GPU bound. I think at 100 to 110 FPS, we will get CPU bound in this game, depending on the stats that I see on the screen. Right now, I've got nothing because I just joined the server and this is a new game. So many people are here and actually playing this. Alright, I don't know if there is any PvP elements in this game or not, because I've not seen anyone attack me. Kind of feels the same. This server is lagging a lot too. I don't know what's happening. So 83 FPS average, you get the idea. Let's move on to the other settings. So just for the sake of this video, I created a new world for myself, and we are at low preset now, which applies medium settings actually overall. And that's kind of weird. If you were actually using medium preset, you should be getting medium, or low preset, you should be getting low settings. But I don't know how they are actually going ahead and measuring all of this. Now right now actually we're getting about 120 FPS because I restarted the game, and as you can see, medium settings here and low preset here. So I'm gonna apply now. Let's just move a little bit more here. Let's try counting the FPS and see, because I wanted to get consistent results, that's why I did it. So this guy looks amazing. Okay, this is really weird. I just picked random, and this is what the game gave me. Wow. Yeah, so getting about 115 FPS on low preset. Now I'm gonna go ahead and go to very low. Let's see. Yeah, only very low option is available. So it looks like I have to restart the game again. Alright guys, so game has been restarted already, and as you can see now we're getting about CPU bound. We're getting CPU bound actually. We're pegged at 120 FPS. I don't know if this game has actually got a frame rate limit here. Max FPS, no limit. No FPS limit is applied. We're at the lowest settings, or not the lowest settings. We're at low preset actually, very low. And yeah, it seems like it applies very low, lowest settings possible here. It feels like Fortnite at performance mode. So getting about 120 FPS. And the game is pretty stable on all of the settings. That is really good. optimization coming from the developer of this game. There are no issues with that. I don't know what you're doing there. You've got a shotgun that I love. So I want to kill you actually. I don't have any weapons. Let's move on ahead, getting 117 FPS still. So let's go to 1440p now. And alright guys, so we are at 2560 by 1440, 1440p right now at very low settings. The same as before, and we're just going to disable VSync here. And yeah, let's go back into the game, into our island. Right, so at very low settings at 1440p, seems like we're getting about 90 to 80 FPS, also dropping into the 70 sometimes. Let's try to move a little bit and try to move the camera if there is, yeah, there is a lot of fluctuation here. Now let's move on forward. We're getting about 74, 76 FPS average, which is good. Sometimes in the 80s and also sometimes in the 60s. It's manageable, it's not an issue. Okay, there's a lot of pop-in going on here. That's really weird. Alright, they need to fix this. This is really bad. Okay, getting hundreds here. So it seems like that area with a lot of trees and stuff was more intensive than this area. Let's try to move to other settings now. Guys, this is 1440p and we are at medium preset, as you can see right here. Medium preset, which applies everything to the high settings with TSR, and the rest of the settings are the same at 1440p. And seems like we're getting about 50 FPS, which is still very playable for this game, this kind of game. It doesn't require that high mouse movement, and it doesn't require that much precision aims and stuff. Although you might need to aim your Pokeball at, or Pokeball, whatever it's called. So getting about 59 FPS average. And there were some starters, that's why our 1%, 0.1% lows are pretty bad. Alright guys, we are at Epic preset now, and at Epic preset on 1440p seems like it's pretty bad. The performance is pretty bad. Let's see if the pop-in issues are still present at Epic settings also. We're getting 43 FPS average. Let's start counting the frames again. 43 FPS, 43, and 1%, 0.1% lows are fine now. We are at 7 gigabytes of memory usage currently. Now this is the highest settings in the game at 1440p, so I would actually be surprised if at 1440p it runs about 30 FPS also. I don't think it's gonna do that, but let's see. At 45 FPS currently, and I cannot jump because my character is just fatigued right now. 44, 45, 42 FPS average. It's still playable. If this game had FSR and stuff, or DLSS, we might be able to, or some settings to actually adjust TSR also, because Fortnite also has some settings for TSR. You could apply upscaling to that, and this game doesn't, so maybe they will update it afterwards. But getting about 42 FPS right now. Now let's go to 4K and let's see how it does. Alright guys, as you might be able to tell from the frame rate there, we are at 4K resolution now. Now these settings I just wanted to check if it's possible, but these settings are not going to be actually representative of how you should be playing the game. This is full screen 4K resolution at Epic settings preset. Everything is to the maximum with TSR. So as you guys can see, we're getting totally memory bound at 7.9 gigabytes of VRAM usage and 16 gigabytes of system RAM usage. We're at 21, 22. It's stable at 20 FPS. If we could get 23, it will be a cinematic experience, according to Ubisoft. So getting about 2016, I think it's not possible, but the game looks really sharp. If you've got a GPU like 6700 XT, I think it would be able to do about 30 FPS at this point. At this area. So 17 FPS, I think it's enough because it hurts my eyes. I'm going to go ahead and go to now medium settings preset. Alright guys, so this is medium settings preset now, and we're getting close to 30 FPS now. Medium settings preset actually applies high settings overall, and with TSR we're at 4K, and seems like we're getting close to 30 FPS. If you guys can play at 30 FPS, you could easily play this game. Now I think it's still dropping from 30, so it's not recommended. Let's start counting the frames again. So we get the idea. 29 FPS average. Let's see if we get at least 30 average here, because there is an area here where the FPS increases somewhat. So let's see if FPS does increase in that area. Let's go to that spot. Yeah, it's increasing. 31, and now the textures and stuff start to look amazing at 4K. Yeah, but overall, the game doesn't have that much graphical fidelity. because they wanted to make a Pokemon game, so somewhat like a Pokemon game. This game has guns also, so that's really weird. It would be nice to kill some Pokemon with guns. So getting about 29 FPS average, this is not recommended, so I'm going to go ahead now and turn the settings down more. Alright guys, this is very low settings now, as you can see right here. Very low settings, everything to the lowest, and we're at 4K. So this seems like now it's becoming a little bit playable, but the pop-in issues are so bad that I wouldn't recommend to use very low settings in this game. And maybe if I change the view settings, view distance settings here. Let's see, there's a view distance option. Let's move it to epic and see if there are any drops. No, frame rate drops are a little bit they're negligible, I would say. We will still, no, we're stopping in the 30s now. Okay, so view distance maybe like let's see here, maybe like medium. Let's see if pop-in becomes bad in this. No, it's not that bad as compared to previously at low. So I would recommend medium view distance. If you've got a lower end GPU or you're trying to play at 4K with the RX 6600, and I would say use medium view distance here, so you don't get pop-in issues and stuff. Okay, it's getting in the lower 30s also in this area. So this area is kind of very intensive because of the trees and stuff. As soon as you start looking here, it gets into 40s. Okay, so getting about 43 average currently. Let's try to move back here because it will drop the FPS, and we want to see the worst case scenario here. So it's 39 FPS, 38 FPS average, 37. It's dropping. It's dropping. Yep. 37. Yeah, the 37 FPS, that is then in the worst case scenario. Sometimes you can also get in the 45, 44 range. Alright. So I think that does it for today's video. If you liked it, please leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you're new. And I will see you all in the next one. Bye-bye.